Hi guys, I haven't done a video in a long time, it seems like. I need to be more consistent with them. That's actually one of my resolutions that I'll share later on in the video. But this video is based on my favorite paintings of 2018, my favorite pieces from 2019. My favorite pieces from 2018. So how I'm going to structure it, each month I'll pick a piece that I think is my favorite and share it and just talk a little bit about it and then move on, per month, and then share my resolutions at the end. Please subscribe if you haven't already, just because it just lets me know that people are watching and if you want to see more. So I'm gonna dive just right into last January. My favorite one, I'd have to say, would be my Charlize Theron Surrealism drawing. I think after every new year, I think I posted it, I'm just looking on my Instagram on my laptop in front of me, January 14th. So after every new year, I notice I try different things just to do something different and to try out some new concepts. This one just kind of opened the doors to the ones that I'm creating now and being more free with it. I have the boat, going off of her head. So yeah, so this one, my favorite part is the boat sailing off of her head. And it's just, freedom of thought, freedom of expression, just all those types of concepts into one photo. So for February, my favorite one would be the little sketch that I did. I was listening to Alan Watts. If you don't listen to Alan Watts or know who he is, he's a philosopher, and he was a philosopher. And I listened to some of his talks. I'll listen to his talks whenever I paint, or audiobooks and things like that. I like to listen to when I paint. So if you're an artist and you're looking for things to listen to, I will put a couple links down below that are of Alan Watts talks. So this one of this sketch that I did basically was inspired by his talk and how we as human beings come out of the universe. And I just thought that was an interesting concept. We are birthed out of the universe, but we think we're thrown into it in a way, or that it's all encompassing us, but we are results of the universe. So down below at the bottom of the sketch is the world, and then it's just kind of like a vine and a blossom. That's the reference photo was of me, and then I'm just kind of blossoming out of the flower. So it's not really about me though. It's just about the combination of everybody. It's just that idea that we come out of the world. So for March, my favorite one would be this one of Lauren, my edit. My favorite, I like this one a lot because I'm diving into, I'm going to say that a lot. I realize I say that a lot. The reason that I like this one so much is it's more abstract. Whenever I looked back at what I did this year, this one is kind of an expression of it, just, going outside the lines and doing things that are different for me. I'd always be strictly realism. So, coming to terms with my love for surrealism and things that are ethereal in the mind, and ethereal of the mind, this is kind of a culmination of all of that. So I really like this one, and she liked it and commented on it too, which was pretty cool. For April, my favorite one would be this eyeball edit. It was one that I did sporadically. I was inspired by somebody's eye that I saw. And I think the idea of somebody being your everything, or the eyes being that opening to somebody's soul, I took literal. So the ocean is in her eyeball, and it was just an expression of how I felt. And I think people connect with it too, just because everybody, whenever they see an eye, I think they instantly gravitate towards it, because that's what we look into and that's what we see every day whenever we interact with people. So it's my favorite one, just because I think it's not only a reflection of who I did it of, but of myself too, and how I portray people. For May, my favorite one of May would be my Demi Lovato and Christina Aguilera edit for Fall in Line. that song was just like, whenever I first heard it, I was freaking out a little bit because I loved it so much. And it was all about women empowerment, which is right up my alley. And yeah, I just really, really loved the song and connected with it. So I wanted to do an edit that was special and represented women at large, a macrocosm of that, because the song speaks to all women. So I had the idea in my mind I wanted both of their heads to kind of interact with each other, but also appear that they're like falling, but then out of falling, there's roots and there's growth. So the juxtaposition of falling and rising and floating the heads in between was something that I balanced in and out of. So this one actually was on Christina's fan art video, and I had no idea that it was, and I was watching the video, I'm like, oh, I wish she would have saw mine. And then it ended up popping up, and I like ran around screaming, which I was just freaking out because I couldn't believe that she had seen it. And then Demi actually liked the post, so clearly her eyes, she at least saw it, that's not why I do celebrity portraits, but to know that the person that you idolize and you spend so much time drawing actually sees it, it's pretty insane, I think. My favorite painting in June, my favorite work would be, I'm not going to talk about my self-portraits either. This is just because I already talked about them in my last video, but the mermaid, me as a mermaid, this was drawn when I was on vacation at the beach, and I love this one just because I think back to me being there, and it's just my happy place. And I just really went crazy with the colors, and I used a reference photo of me and then added like a squid to my head, but it doesn't really look like me. I think that's why I like it because it's just like a mermaid, and I love anything to do with the ocean, so it's one of my favorites. For July, my favorite piece would be my collaboration with Rue Gomes. Her art is insane. I will put her information down below, but I'm sure you've already heard of her if you follow me because of Lauren art. But anyway, her art is insane. I remember looking at it like 2 or 3 years ago. It was during a time I didn't want to like do too many of Lauren. I don't know. I was just not sure if I should do Lauren art or be a part of the community in that way. And this one, I just love it so much because it just shows me how far I've come, and actually getting to do a drawing with her, which is awesome. And seeing our two styles go back and forth and really work together to balance the two, because our styles are quite different, but I think it speaks to both of ours. And she did the line art, and then I took it into Photoshop and I did painting, I think it was, in acrylic. I did acrylic on canvas. So I added, it has that surrealism for my part, and then my color choices along with her, just complete embodiment of her style. It's amazing that I got to do a collab with her, and I wish to do them in the future. And yeah, it's one of my favorites. So shout out to Rue too. I think your art's amazing, and I really loved working with you on that. August would be my Demi Lovato piece. This is it. It's much smaller than people might think, and it's on a board. It was actually just an experiment to even try to do this one. I wasn't sure how to do it the right way because it's such a touchy subject. I was really like, I don't know, I just wanted to do something special for her, because to know that like her fans and people that support her really just have her back and understand that it's okay to, mess up or not be perfect, because I can't even imagine what she feels. Anyway, this is my favorite one just because of the reaction that I got. I wasn't really expecting it at all. Her mom actually liked it on somebody else's page. I remember just my Twitter going off for like 2 days straight. I would just keep getting notifications coming in, and I wasn't used to that because I don't even tweet. I don't really tweet, and I just posted it. I was like, I'll just post this and see, what the reaction will be. And people loved it, and it just means the world that it can reach that many people, and that social media, along with all the negatives, like can reap so many benefits. For September, my favorite one is my MAC painting for various reasons. people really grabbed onto that one too. I think it was a time, I mean, with his passing, it was an emotional time for people that really, really adored him. And I really wanted to give him and his legacy just my representation of him, because I'd been seeing a lot of art and I wanted it to be something that really spoke to his legacy and who he was. It just combines all of the styles that I've been working on throughout the year into one entire piece. There's the surrealism factor, there's realism within his face, and just the colors and really finding my style. I think this one and my Demi Lovato piece, they were sporadic, but they were like calculated thoughts. Like I'd written them down and really wanted to make them happen for weeks before, and then following through and seeing just, there's a lot of similarities between this one and the Mac one. I'll put them back to back, but just with the colors and how I place the heads, directly in the center. I just love capturing that emotion and making people really feel things that, and just a normal picture wouldn't necessarily. But my favorite one from October would be it wasn't a collab, but I took inspiration from Johnny, I can't pronounce his last name, but I'll put his Instagram in the description. Follow him. His poetry is awesome. And I heard this poem, such an agonizing thought it is that maybe no one really loves you and you have to sit with the skeletons hanging inside the closet of your rib cage and dig for the love you once had for yourself. And this one, I remember reading it at night and I almost teared up because it just hit me at such a time. It was at a time where, we always think about self-love, but it really just hit me I just had this vision, and I brought it to life with this sketch. Follow him on Instagram because his poetry, it really speaks to me. November would be my new piece for the Mirror series. It's all about depth, and my newest one of the hands, it's all encompassing the same idea. Just there's a cavity opening on my chest that has water. I'm just so attracted to portraying depth and to painting things that have meaning. It's going to be just focusing on depth in general, intellectual depth, spiritual depth, depth of self. Early in December, I hope I didn't skip a month, is my hands painting. Which, if I'm looking over here, that's because my hands painting is right here and I just look at it. For my hands painting, I was also inspired by Beau Frank. I will put his Instagram in the description too. I think that his art is insane and it's awesome. He incorporates ocean, and that's kind of what drew me to his work, was how he incorporated in his Off the Grid series his the ocean into portraiture and kind of a graphic design aspect too. But he's an oil painter and I really, really like his work. And I actually saw one of his YouTube videos too that inspired me to make YouTube videos as well, and to use it to describe my work and how I view and some of my views. I just think video can be used by artists to describe our work in a better way, and it's just a whole new medium to explore. But yeah, his art, I really like his art, and if you don't follow him, I will put the link for you to do that because his work is amazing. My hands painting is my favorite from December, and I'm currently working on it now. I did an edit of it, but I know it's going to turn out completely different. Whenever you actually sit and think about it and you're painting, it's different than editing on, obviously, Photoshop. But I did share the reference because I really liked it and was excited to kind of get it out there. We all have choices. Do we reach for things that have depth and clarity, or do we reach for things, that are strictly material and things that are empty? There's an emptiness to them. Some of my favorite things are just, going out for a bike ride, or going for a walk on the beach and listening to something, or listening to the waves and getting just gratitude from simple things. Conclusion of this video, I'm probably gonna have to cut this down a lot with my footage because I have 24 minutes of footage. Creative resolutions for this year are to make more videos, be consistent with them, share more and be more organic with it. Because I always post things that may appear like everything's perfect, but the process isn't perfect. But there's just parts of the process that I don't share on here with my time-lapse videos that I want to somehow integrate and share in, that's different and in a more interesting way. Please subscribe if you haven't already. hit the thumbs up. Check me out on Instagram. I'm sure you know if you're watching this video that you're on my Instagram. What else? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you have any creative resolutions that you want to share them down below, message me or DM me. I'd love to hear what they are.